If you've ever stared at your mic, contemplating whether to just jack it all in, this episode is for you. We're going to talk about how to keep podcasting even when you'd rather quit. Podmaster! Okay, so let's start with the reality check then. Why mindset is everything. Honestly, podcasting isn't for the impatient. It's a bloody long game. The first few months, or even years, can feel like you're just talking to yourself while refreshing your stats like an addict and having your mum say to you, "Nice episode this week, sweetheart." And let's be honest, there's a high chance you'll get frustrated and wonder, why the hell am I doing this? But here's the deal. Motivation isn't what keeps you going. Systems do. Habits do. Discipline does. So let's take a look at some practical ways to keep your podcasting fire burning. First of all, you got to get your head in the right space on this. Mindset isn't just some woo-woo nonsense. It can be the difference between you showing up and you ghosting your audience. It's not simply about positive thinking or wishful optimism. It's the underlying drive that determines whether you consistently produce and deliver content to your audience or sporadically disappear, leaving them wondering about your commitment. There's nothing worse than having a listener judge you on your commitment. So a strong mindset fosters the discipline, resilience, and passion needed to overcome the numerous challenges that podcasters face. It enables you to push through self-doubt, technical difficulties, and creative blocks, ensuring that you show up consistently for your listeners. Without a solid mindset, it's easy to succumb to procrastination, lose your motivation, and ultimately abandon your podcasting endeavors. Remember, your audience relies on your consistency and dedication. So cultivating a strong mindset is not just beneficial, it's essential for podcasting success and building a loyal listener base. But I don't want to just talk around this topic. I want to give you some real practical tips for how you can approach your recordings and get better results. So let's do this. Cue calming Zen music now. Before you press record, try this. Close your eyes, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for 4. Sounds simple, right? But it does center your mind and it clears any immediate stress and anxiety around your recording. Not only will it stop you sounding like you've just run up a flight of stairs, but it also has a positive impact on your voice. Also, try this. Picture a listener sliding into your DMs saying, "Your podcast changed my life." This trick helps keep you focused. You remember why you're doing this. Every time you record, jot down just one thing that you did well. Even if it's just, "I didn't sound like a robot this time." Celebrate the small stuff. Okay, so let's talk more about remembering why you started. I just mentioned this a moment ago. But in terms of your long-term mindset, it is important to manage your focus around that. After all, podcasting can turn into a slog if you let it become so. Reignite the spark by asking yourself these questions. What made me launch this podcast in the first place? Who am I actually helping? How would I feel if I just stopped? Write this down. Stick it somewhere visible. Because on those days when the numbers aren't moving the way you'd like them to, you're going to need a reminder. You're going to need to come back to base tax on this. Remember, download stats are attached to your ego and your dopamine hits. If you're not getting them, it is going to affect your mindset. You're not a bad person for attaching a lot of your podcast's future to your ego and your stats. But if that's the only reason you're doing it, to become famous and get stats, you're not going to find the success that you're hoping for. Also, it can be useful to have some kind of easy access scrapbook of positive, motivational, and validating feedback that you've had. Maybe put together a Canva image of loads of good reviews in Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Maybe some emails from listeners. Perhaps even a bank statement showing a sale that you've made to a listener. Another important aspect of this is keeping your creative tank full. Content that's not refreshed and updated regularly can lead to a loss of interest from both the creator, you, and the audience, them. For the creator, working on the same material for extended periods can become monotonous and stifle creativity, leading to a decline in enthusiasm and effort. For the audience, outdated content can become irrelevant and fail to provide new insights or value, which causes them to seek out alternative sources that offer fresh perspectives and information. This can result in decreased engagement, lower listenership, and ultimately a decline in the overall success of your podcast. So here's how you can keep things fresh. Listen to other shows outside of your own niche. If you run a business podcast, go binge a history or comedy show for a while. Cross-pollination of ideas can be a game changer. For example, I have reminded myself quite recently of the importance of storytelling. So I've been listening to a lot of fiction podcasts to try and shake up those juices a little more. Change locations, throw in a new segment, invite a wild card guest. See what people are moaning about on social media and try and turn that into an episode. If you want to be a next level podcaster though, definitely study the art of storytelling. Read some books on it, and also listen to the episode of the Podmaster in which I went through that very topic. Go to podmastery.co/storytelling. Okay, so at the heart of this, we're really questioning the value of motivation, aren't we? I would say rituals beat motivation every time. If you're relying solely on feeling inspired to record, you're going to quickly be in trouble. So instead, try turning the podcast itself into a ritual. Have a pre-recording routine. Maybe light a candle, make yourself some coffee, do whatever it is that puts you in the zone. This is a technique used by lots of public speakers and actors. Try keeping a dedicated podcast notebook for your ideas, reflections, and random thoughts. Jot anything you want to in this, it's just literally a mind dump. Don't worry about keeping things tidy. Maybe make a recording day playlist full of tracks that get you hyped up. You know, there's a reason that loads of famous sports stars can be seen with earbuds in just before they're about to perform. Another really important aspect of all of this podcasting stuff is if you make it a game, you'll enjoy it more because we all love a win. Sometimes you just need that little bit of external motivation. So try these. Use a tracker. Apps like Streaks or even an old school calendar where you tick off your episodes. Maybe have a minimum number of episodes published in the month in mind. Set realistic and fun mini goals. Instead of, I want to grow my audience, aim for, I want to engage with 3 new listeners this week. Or, I want to publish 2 episodes that get at least X number of downloads. That X is arbitrary, it could be low or high. Dream big. Or go home. If you don't manage to reach that goal, that's fine. You can have a look at why you think that you didn't reach that goal, which can be helpful. Oh, also, reward yourself regularly. If you hit a 10-episode streak, perhaps 10 episodes released weekly in a row, no breaks, treat yourself. Got a lovely comment from a listener? Screenshot it and stick it on that motivation board that we talked about a little bit earlier in this episode. Then, reward yourself by buying something nice for yourself. Even if it's something like a Greg's sausage roll or an extra latte, it all counts. Above all, don't feel you got to do this alone. Podcasting can feel like a lonely game sometimes, so make sure you get some backup. Join podcasting groups if you think you'd find that useful. Whether it's a Facebook group, a Discord server, or a whole community, you'll be able to find your people. I'll be launching a Podmastery community later this year where I'll be helping podcasters like you and encouraging you to support each other. So if you want to register ready for that, go to podmastery.co/community. That's podmastery.co/community. Maybe find yourself an accountability buddy or mentor. Partner with another podcaster who shares similar goals and commitments as you. Check in regularly with them to discuss progress, challenges, and successes. Honestly, an accountability buddy can help you stay on track, offer you encouragement, and provide constructive feedback. Seek out a mentor who has experience in podcasting and can offer guidance and support. And they won't be feeling awkward about telling you the truth, even if they worry it might slightly dent your ego. They understand it's better that you're told what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. So work with a podcast coach if you feel like you need some better insight into what you're doing. Now, I've been working with podcasters for more than a decade, helping them understand their own strengths and weaknesses and what opportunities they have to improve. And I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm clearly good at what I do. If you'd like to work with me, drop me an email at neil@podnose.co.uk. That's Neil, Neal, at podknows.co.uk. And you'll be able to learn how I help podcasters like yourself to get better results from their shows. Remember, podcasting is a journey and it is natural to experience the feelings of ups and downs. But by building a strong support system and celebrating your successes regularly, you can overcome challenges, stay motivated, and achieve your podcasting goals. But enough about the whole making sure you keep doing this thing. What about knowing when to step back and not feel guilty about it? Look, burnout is real, and you're of no use to anyone if you're running on empty, putting out content for content's sake. So if you need a break, take one, but just make sure you do it right. First of all, and this is the most important point, let your audience know. A quick mention of, hey, I'm taking a short break. I am expecting to be back on X date. That will stop them assuming that you've quit. Batch record whenever you're feeling it, because future you will be grateful, and give yourself permission to rest. Some of your best ideas will come when you're not thinking about your podcast. So if you're planning on having a 3 or 4 week burst of just not even caring about your podcast, give yourself permission to do that. Not everyone needs it, but some people really do. And you shouldn't feel guilty about needing that. So there we are. Podcasting isn't about quick wins. It's about sticking with it long enough to see those results. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one of these mindset hacks and try it out today on your podcast. And if it works, please do let me know. I'd love to hear how you keep yourself motivated when podcasting gets really tough. At the end of the day, showing up is what separates us podcasters from the wannabes. So now, go hit record on your next episode. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit podmastery.co for other podcasting tips and insights, and look out for the next episode in your library soon.
The Podmaster is a Podnose production. Find out more about us at podnose.co.uk.
Podnose.